Welcome back. In the earlier lectures of this section, we learned to set up our storage layer and create a Unity catalog meta store. And then we enabled our workspace with the Unity catalog. We connected Unity catalog with our workspace. So now I am ready to start creating my data objects and use it under the Unity catalog. So let's try to uh, see few examples of how we use Unity catalog in our project. So I have already set up one notebook for this demo. So let me go there and we will start using it. So I already have a running cluster. It's attached with my notebook. Before I start something, let me run a cleanup script. This cleanup script will simply clean up few things that I created or provisioned for earlier lectures or for this current lecture as well. So if you are following along, if you are using one of our uh, notebooks, it is always recommended to run the cleanup before you start doing your own hands-on activities. So I'm done with the cleanup. Cleanup is executed. Now let's start understanding how Unity catalog objects can be created and used. So in the Unity catalog, the first level of the object is a catalog. You have to create a catalog, and then inside the catalog you can have databases, tables, views, functions, volumes, all other things. And usually we create catalogs for environments or for projects. So let's assume you have a project and you want to create two catalogs for your projects. One we call it dev catalog, another one we call it QA catalog. So let's create a catalog. So how to create it? Simple. Create catalog. For safety you can use if not exists and give a catalog name. Let's call it dev catalog, right? And let's create one more. I'll simply copy it and change the catalog name. Let's call it QA catalog. So that's how you can create a catalog. And while we are creating the catalog, let me also introduce you to the catalog explorer. So in your workspace, you can see this catalog menu. Let me open it in a new browser tab. So here is the catalog explorer. This is a UI that allows you to work with the Unity catalog managed objects. So from here you can see we have three catalogs already shown here. One is the system catalog, which is owned by system user. It's automatically created for a new Unity catalog setup, and we have an information schema already created in the system catalog, and inside the information schema you have lot of metadata tables. So if you want to do some query on the metadata, you can get the details from this information schema in the system catalog. This is sample catalog, which is owned by Databricks Inc. It's automatically created for a new Unity catalog setup. You can ignore that. We also have a catalog called Hive Metastore. This is not a Unity catalog. It is workspace local catalog. So if you do not have a Unity catalog set up for your workspace, you will only have Hive catalog. Once you set up the Unity catalog, you can create new catalogs using Unity catalog and have your own catalogs. Otherwise, you will have only one local workspace, local Hive Meta Store catalog available to you. So in the Hive Meta Store catalog, whatever objects you create, for example, if you are creating a database which sits into the Hive Meta Store in this current workspace, and that object cannot be shared across multiple workspaces. So Hive Meta Store is your local workspace, local catalog. So what we want to do, we want to create two new catalogs from here, right? So let me run this code and I can create two new catalogs. It's done. If you come to the UI, you will maybe refresh this and you will see those catalogs, dev catalog and QA catalog. Inside the dev catalog, you will see a default schema or database and information schema. These two are automatically brought into every new catalog. So default is there, information schema is the same which we saw in the system. So that is there in the dev catalog. Similarly, in the QA catalog, you can see default and information schema. You should leave the information schema as it is, but you can drop the default database if you want. So, but before dropping that, let's see how do we create a new database in one of my catalogs. So for example, I want to create a DemoDB database in my dev catalog. How to do it? You already know the syntax, how to create a database, right? So let's do create database if not exist. What is the database name? DemoDB. So let's give a database name as DemoDB. But now we implemented Unity catalog and we also created catalog. We created dev catalog and QA catalog. So whenever I'm creating a database, I should decide in which catalog I am creating this database. Is it for dev environment, or it is for dev catalog, or it is for QA? So I want to create it for dev, so we should prefix the catalog name before the database name. It is same like when you create a table in a database, you prefix the database name before the table name, right? Same way, once you have the Unity catalog, with every object you will use catalog name prefixed before the database name. So for example, if I have a table called people table in DemoDB database, so how do I refer people table? dev.demodb.people. So every object should be referred with three levels of naming. First should be catalog name, second should be database, and then you can have table or view. So let's create this database and see. Done. If you come to Catalog Explorer in the dev database, in the dev catalog, let's refresh it. You can see now a DemoDB database. So we created a DemoDB database inside it. You can even drop your default database from the QA catalog if you want to. So here is an example that we want to drop default database from the QA catalog. So how to do it? You already know how to drop objects, right? So drop database if exists. And what is the database name that we want to drop? We want to drop the default database from QA catalog. So it's QA.default, right? And we already have a default database here in the QA. So let me drop it and we can verify it from here, right? This default database, refresh it and it's gone. So idea is you have option to create catalog objects or Unity catalog objects from the code like this. You can create databases, tables, you can drop, or you can also use UI to do the same thing. For example, if in the QA catalog, if I want to create a schema, I have this button here, right? I can create a database here. Even if you come to the catalogs, you have a button to create catalog. So everything that you want to do with the Unity catalog can be done from the UI also. It's very good, simple, easy to use UI. But you can do it from the code also. You can script things and you can automate things. So now we learned how to create objects. Same way, if you know SQL or DDL statements for creating tables, creating views, creating other type of objects like user defined functions, you can create all those things. Next, most important part of Unity catalog is to manage privileges. So let's start learning how to grant privileges to different kind of objects in Unity catalog. So we want to do a simple example here. We want to grant use catalog privilege on the dev catalog. So how to do it? Let's do that. We can use uh, grant command to grant the privilege, and similarly we have revoke command for revoking the privilege. So grant, and then we tell what is the privilege that we want to grant. So we want to grant use catalog privilege, right? So that's the next thing, grant use catalog. And then on what? So on, and on what? Dev. What is dev? Dev is a catalog, right? So on catalog dev. So grant use catalog on catalog dev, and then to whom do we want to grant this? So we want to grant this to Scholar Nest dev group. But that's a user group, so it must be enclosed in a backtick, a pair of backticks. So don't forget that, otherwise you might see an error. So we wanted to grant use catalog privilege on catalog dev to Scholar Nest dev. That's all, and it's so easy. Let's do one more example. We want to grant all privileges on DemoDB database. So let's do that. Grant. What is the permission that we want to grant? All privileges on what? On database, right? On database. And what is the database? DemoDB. So DemoDB database, but I have to prefix the catalog name also. So catalog name is dev. I created DemoDB database in dev catalog, and to whom? To same group. So let's do this, same group, right? So we want to grant permissions to this group on these two objects, dev and DemoDB. But before that, let's go and look at the catalog explorer. Right, so in the DemoDB, in the dev DemoDB, you can see permissions here. So as of now, there is no permissions. I have UI also. I can use this grant button and grant permissions using UI. So you can do it from here, or you can do it from the code. So let me run this code, and it worked. I can see like okay here. You come here, refresh this maybe here, and in the DemoDB permissions you can see ScholarNet dev has got all privileges, and on the catalog permissions ScholarNet dev has got use catalog privileges. So if you want to revoke it, you can select it and use the revoke button. Similarly, on the DemoDB database, come to permissions, select this permission, you want to revoke it, you can use this revoke button, and you can revoke it. You can use it at Catalog Explorer, or you can write code for doing all that. Similarly, like you are using grant command, you can use the revoke command. Now we learned to create dev catalog. We learned to create database in the catalog, and we also learned how to give privileges on the catalog or on the database. Now we need to learn few things on database objects, like how do we create tables, how do we create views, how do we create volumes. So I'm assuming that you have already worked with the Spark SQL. You know DDL statements for creating tables. So it's simple: create table and then you give the details and you can create a table. Similarly, view also you can create. Volume is little new. So let's see how we can create a volume. So create a volume under DemoDB database. And what is volume? We already learned volume is a storage volume where you can store data files. You can create subdirectories also and store data files in your subdirectories inside the volume. So how to create a volume? It's simple. We have a create volume statement, create volume, and then let's give the details. We want to create it inside the dev catalog, inside the demo DB, and then volume name, let's call it files, right? That's the volume we want to create. Put a semicolon. If you are writing multiple lines in the same cell, semicolon is mandatory, otherwise it's optional. So let me run it. It's done. You can come from here in the demo DB. Maybe you can see a files volume here, right? You can see visually what are the files here, but we don't have anything here, so we cannot see anything here. But upload a data file to your volume. So if you want, you can upload data files to this volume from here, upload to this volume. Maybe in the notebook also upload files to volume preview mode. So you have a shortcut option here. So uploading file to your volume is something that you will be doing through the UI itself. So let's come here and upload to this volume, and it goes into the volumes dev demodb files. And remember this naming. Every volume can be referred with this location, this kind of location, where /volumes is fixed. That's a fixed directory location which is always prefixed with all volumes. And after that, your volume is created inside the database, right? So you will have catalog name, then /database name /volume names, and your files will sit here. So that's how you can refer to your volume from code. If you want to refer it from the code, this is the directory location. Let me copy it so we can show you a demo. You can browse and select your data files or drag and drop. I have selected one, people.json, and let's upload it. So my file is now in the volume, right? So I uploaded my data file into the volume. Let's come here, upload data file into the volume, and if you want to list the content of the volume, you can use %fs magic command ls, and we already learned how to refer the volume. So it should be volumes, then your catalog name, database name, and then files, and you can refer the volume. So let's do the ls from here, %fs ls, and I can see people.json is here. So basically it is in the dbfs root. In the dbfs root, Databricks automatically created a volumes directory, and all this goes into that volume. You can check it out from the Catalog Explorer UI, which is here, right? But on the volumes, you can grant permissions. So I have already granted permission here is column dev, all privileges to the volume. Actually, I gave all privileges on the DemoDB database here, This is what we did few minutes ago. And in Unity Catalog, those privileges are inherited. So if I gave all privileges to the DemoDB database, all the objects inside the DemoDB database will automatically inherit that privilege. So I gave all privileges to Scholar Nest Dev at the database level. So volume is inside the database, so already I have these permissions. But the point is, you can create volumes and you can grant permissions to your users, whether they can access the volume, they can access files in the volume, or they have read-only access, or they have read-write privilege. All that you can manage, and accordingly people will have restricted privileges, or you can do fine-grained privilege management on the directories also. So that's done. Now next thing is, other than volume, there is a new type of object that Unity Catalog supports, which is known as external locations, or simply locations. So how do we create external locations? So let's use Catalog Explorer for now, for creating an external location, and we will learn how to create it using code sometime later. So external location is like your DBFS mounts, right? What we do, we create an external location, map it to some your Azure ADLS storage container, and then you can access data. If it is already available on that container, you can access those files from within database. But the beauty is that once you create an external location, you can provide privileges on that. You can manage permissions on that external location from the Unity Catalog. We couldn't do that on the DBFS mount point. So for creating external locations using the Catalog Explorer UI, you can come here. You can see external data tab here. And in that external data, you should have at least one storage credential which will have access to your container. Once you create a Unity Catalog, once you do the Unity Catalog setup, you will always have at least one storage credential. So this storage credential we created earlier, which is the connector that we created, right? So for that connector, we created storage credential. So this is your storage credential, and it is a managed identity, and it points to MetaStore default location, right? And you can give permissions on this. So you can give permissions to your dev group on this storage credential, but we don't want to do that. The point is, I wanted to tell you that you should have at least one storage credential which can be used to access your cloud container, so that you can create a external location from the Unity Catalog. So we already have a storage credential here. So nothing to worry. I can simply come to the external locations and create an external location. In fact, there is one location already created here, which is used by the MetaStore, Unity Catalog MetaStore. We don't want to disturb that. We want to create a new location. So let's create a new location. Let's call it, what do we call it? External data, right? Let's call it external data. And storage credential, which storage credential do we want to use? The existing one. We already have one. If it is not there, we can create a new one, but we already have one. And what is the URL? So URL is your abffss:/ abfss is the file system for Azure Cloud Storage. A container name, add storage account name, dot rest of the things. So let me paste the code here. So URL looks like this. It should be abefss colon slash slash, and then you should provide your container name. So what is my container which I want to map here? Let me go to my Azure portal and see what containers do we have. I'll come to my storage account and come to containers. We have this dbfs container which we were mounting earlier, right? And we have this metastore root container which I was using for Unity catalog root storage. So this one we don't want to touch. I want to leave this for Unity catalog. This dbfs container, I tried to mount it, but we know mounting is not recommended. So let's create an external location for the same container. So we come here, copy the container name at account name. So account name is storage account name. Storage account name is this, and that's all. If you want to make it read only for everyone, you can make it, but we don't want to do that. So that's all. Hit the create button and your external location is created. Come back to here and you will see you have an external data, external location. So we created external location. You can grant permissions on this external location, or you can browse what we have in the external location. So in that container, we know we created a sample data directory and uploaded JSON file earlier. So I can see that here. So you can see that from here also, right, in the sample data JSON file. So whatever is already there in your container will be available under your external location. So that's the idea behind the external location. If you already have data in some cloud directory, create an external location pointing to that directory and start using it in your Databricks project. So we are done with the external location creation. Create an external location to an existing container or directory in ADLS and use the catalog explorer for doing that. So we have done that. Now can we describe that external location from code? So you can definitely describe. What is the command? Same describe, right? Describe. What do we want to describe? External location. And what is the external location name? Let's copy it from here. You should know the external location name, right? So this is the external location name, but names must be enclosed in a single quote, not single quote, sorry, backtick. Whether it is user group name or external location name, you should to avoid unnecessary errors, you should be in the habit of enclosing into the pair of backticks. So let's run it and you can see what is the name of the external location. What URL does it point to? It points to the Azure cloud file system dbfs container at this storage location, and this is for the Microsoft cloud. Which credential it is using, right? Which storage credential is used to access this directory location. So that's defined here. Who is the owner of this external location? Who created it? What time it is created? If there is any comment, all that. You can create the external location. If you want to grant like read files privilege on this external location to Scholar Nest Dev, you can do it from Catalog Explorer. Like you come to external location, come to this external location from the grant, let's say read files, this permission, and to whom? search for the group, scholar nest group, or any of the existing users. All users are that we imported in our Unity catalog will be visible here. We want to grant it to scholar nest dev user group, and you can hit the grant button from here, and you can grant this permission from the UI. But we want to grant it from the code. So how to grant it? Grant. And what permission we want to grant? We want to grant read files permission on what? On external location. And what is the external location name? Let's copy it from here. This is the external location name, and grant it to home. Scholar nest dev. Let me copy it from maybe here. Sorry. To this, and let's run it. Done. So if you come here, you will see the grant is already added here. If you want to revoke, hit that button or revoke it. So that's how we can create external location using the UI. We will learn how to create it using the code. You can describe, you can grant privileges to on the external location. If you want to access the external location from your code, you have to use this URL, right? You cannot access it from the name. It's not that easy. But for example, list the content of external location. So %fs, you can use ls and use the external location URL, right? You can use this URL. If you have not created any external location with proper credential to this URL, you cannot directly do the fsls. It won't work. But since you have already created external location for this URL, external location name is this, and there is a credential already mapped with this URL, which allows Databricks Unity Catalog to access this location, and that's why fsls will work. And we already learned that fsls allows you to access different kind of file systems, right? With appropriate file qualifier. So I'm using ABFSS, that's a qualifier for Azure Data Lake storage, and we can access the root directory of this external location directly. So we have a sample data directory inside. You want to navigate inside the sample data directory, you can do that. And you can see the people.json file. So that's how you can access external location or data inside your external location. You can even use this URL in your data frame APIs for reading data from this directory. So that's all. So I think that's all I wanted to give you a demo for. You might have got a good sense of how to create objects inside the Unity catalog, how to create external location, how to create volumes, and how to grant different kind of privileges. Now I help you to refer to the documentation for details of what all privileges are available on different types of Unity catalog object. So the topmost object is MetaStore itself that we created from the Databricks account console, and then inside the MetaStore we can create catalog, and then inside catalog we can create a schema, which is database, and inside database you can have tables, views, volumes, and things like that. If you scroll up in this document, you will see that the hierarchy. This is how the hierarchy is. MetaStore. Inside MetaStore you have catalog. inside catalog you have a schema, and inside a schema you can create all these things. External location is not inside a schema, it's outside, right? Similarly, storage credential is also outside. So you can create all these things, and you can get the list of allowed privileges for each type of object. So on the catalog you have all privileges, maybe create a schema and use catalog. These three are most important ones, and then other privileges are also there. The idea is that in Unity catalog you have to understand that privileges are inherited. So if you grant some privilege at the catalog level, they are inherited on all the objects in the schema. So suppose in the dev catalog you assigned all privileges to someone, then in the dev catalog, whatever database, let's say you are creating 3 databases, bronze, silver, gold, on all 3 databases, on all the objects inside those databases, that user has got all privileges because you gave him all privileges at the catalog level. Similarly, if you gave him all privileges at the database level, all the objects in that database will inherit those privileges. So be careful while assigning privileges. It is easy to assign privilege at the higher level and get it inherited automatically under that object, but it's dangerous also if you don't want that to happen. So what all privileges do we have? All privileges, and then maybe in the schema you have all these privileges. At the table level you have all privileges, select and modify privileges. Apply tag is also a privilege, but these are the most important ones, select and modify. On the volume you have read volume, write volume privilege, right? On the external location you have all privileges. You have create external table privilege, because if you already have data on some external location, you might want to create an external table on that. You can even create external volume. You can grant read files, write files, create managed storage. So all those different types of privileges you can grant. So that's all for this lecture. I hope you understand now what is Unity Catalog, how we build the storage layer for our Lakehouse projects, and how do we manage different types of objects, metadata, users, and privileges for our project using the Unity Catalog. That's all for this lecture. See you again. Keep learning and keep growing.